Thanks, Gage. Yeah, we'll be chatting with you.
Thank you.
Very pleasant Saturday evening here on the banks of the Monongahela River in Pittsburgh, PA. This is USL Soccer, and this is the opening installment of the 2018 Keystone Derby Cup between the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC and Penn FC. These two squads, well, they've been going at it for a long time here in USL, and
on the bench, number 3, Ray
last year Pittsburgh claimed the Derby
on the bench, number 20, Joe Greenspan. On the bench, number 2, Toby Adewale. On the bench, number 5, Jordan Dover. At midfield, number 25, Thomas Bancayazio. At midfield, number 11, Leonardo Forbes. At midfield, number 4, Joe Collins. Up forward, number 10, your captain, Ken.
They want to get a win at home and start the season the right way.
Brand new look for Penn FC. They used to be the Harrisburg City Islanders, in case you're wondering what happened to them. Same franchise, different look, different coach. Raul Voss coming in, a former assistant with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And as for the Riverhounds, well, speaking of a new look, a new logo, same name for the squad, but a brand new coach and a host of new players. Bob Lilly takes over the Riverhounds after several years in charge of the very successful Rochester Rhinos. Lilly, 17 years in pro soccer. Paul Child, you coached him back in the day, but he's never missed the playoffs as a coach himself.
No, very good coach. I'm really glad to see him here, and I think he's going to do very well. He doesn't like to lose, and that's really important, and he's done very, very well. I was able to coach him and play with him in my career, so I look for some great things from Bob Lilly.
The Riverhounds gained a 0-0 draw on the road at brand new Nashville last week. Dictating play in the second half, hit a post, had 13 shots in fact, could not connect, but an encouraging effort to the start of the Lilly era for the Riverhounds. I'm Matt Geico along with Paul Child. We are going to bring you all the action here tonight. Riverhounds and Penn FC on Pittsburgh CW and USLsoccer.com.
Ow.
Okay,
Oh.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That one a little bit.
A little bit right here?
Yeah, right there.
Well, it looks like we can treat this in just a cast. So is this your first time getting a cast?
Yes.
Does it feel nice?
Yeah, it feels nice.
Call 412 Doctors for a same-day appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Matt Geica with Paul Child here at Highmark Stadium on a beautiful Saturday night, the final day of March and the first home match of the season for the new-look Pittsburgh Riverhounds against the new-look Penn FC squad. Penn FC in the white, Riverhounds in the black and gold. And look at that tifo put up by the Steel Army supporters group over there in the Paul Child stand. As for Penn FC, coming in here with a record of 0-1-0, losing last week 1-0 to Charleston. You have the new signee, Tom Heineman up front along with Lucky Umkosana. Lucky ruined the opener here 5 years ago with a stoppage time goal. Resend, Metzger, Estaquillo, Franco, and Barone in the midfield. Tribbett, Calvano, and Jake Bond across the back. And the 38-year-old Frenchman, Romu Peiser, is between the sticks for head coach Raul Voss's squad. As I mentioned last week, not a lot to speak of offensively for that side. 3 shots, none of them on target. Tried to grind out a draw perhaps, but Charleston nicked the winner there in the second half. Last week in Nashville, it was quite the crowd, over 20K at Nissan Stadium, the home of the Tennessee Titans of the NFL. The Hounds held up well under that duress. Here's what we're looking at here in terms of their formation. Romeo Parks, the man up top. Kevin Kerr, the captain, as we've seen him over the years here in Pittsburgh. Kerr will once again be wearing the armband, his 6th season as a Riverhound. He's got Holland and Francois, along with the rookie Thomas Bunke-Yazil and Canardo Forbes, the former Rochester Rhino, in the midfield and holding position. Across the back, Raymond Lee, Joseph Greenspan led the team in clearances last week. Toby Adewale, one of the few returners. Jordan Dover, and then Dan Lind, the former Pitt Panther, in fact. A couple of years in Rochester the last 2 years. Bob Lilly, the new head coach here, knows him well. Lind gets his 2nd consecutive start to begin this season. And the smoke bombs have been set off, Paul Child, so I suppose we can't officially declare the home season open at Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Matt. It looks like it is a beautiful night, and I'm really excited about it. I'm looking for some great things this season, and hopefully a winning one.
The Riverhounds technically coming out in a 3-3-4-1 with Parks at the top. As for Penn FC, 3-5-1-1 is the formation put forth by Raul Voss. 14 players with NASL experience last year are on this Penn team. For the Hounds, it's more USL experience, guys. So it's interesting to see with the NASL rather on hiatus, the USL, Paul, the only Division II league in action this year. It should be a much stronger league than usual, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing because we've always had that problem of who's Division II, you know what I mean, Matt?
No dispute this year, yeah.
We got it sorted out, and hopefully it'll be good for the rest of the country, so they know we've got a Division II team.
Knocked ahead, looking for Parks are the Riverhounds here again. The Hounds with the bumblebee look, the black and gold, looking sharp and distinctive. New kits for them, new kits for Penn FC, of course, with the total rebrand and the affiliation with the Rush Soccer Club, hopefully setting up a talent pipeline for the boys from Harrisburg, the capital of Pennsylvania. This is the Keystone Derby Cup, first of 3 matchups between these two teams. Pittsburgh's won it 2 out of the first 3 years that it's been competed, as Penn FC's Kenny Tribbett chases down this ball, or actually lets it go into touch for a goal kick right in front of the Steel Army supporters group. That's where Romu Peiser, the keeper for Penn FC, will put it into play. Penn FC played more of a conservative style last week. Bob Lilly, though, Paul told me in the pregame, he wants his team to dictate play from the start here at home. We'll see how well they do with that.
Yeah, I'm sure he does, especially with the home opener as well, Matt. You know, you want to get off to a really good start and obviously put some pressure on Penn FC straight away and get some shots off if possible and set the tone.
Ray Lee popped it down the left flank. Nothing there for Pittsburgh, but pushing the play into the attacking third. Romeo Parks gives some token pressure there. Romeo Parks, the striker, 3rd year as a Hound. You'll recall 2 years ago, he had 5 goals in his first 6 matches as a Riverhound. Then into exile after the foul against New York Red Bulls here, and back last year. And now they're hoping for big things from Romeo. Had a great chance or 2 at Nashville last week. The big man from the island of Jamaica, Romeo Parks, number 27.
It would be good for him, obviously, to get on the scoreboard as soon as possible, because just for the confidence and would be great for the team, obviously, and get him off to a good start.
The Hounds haven't allowed a goal against Penn FC since the 2016 season. They blanked them all 3 games last year. 1-0, 0-0, and 3-0 were the results. Unbeaten against their rival club. These teams have been going at it in this league for a long time, in fact, dating back before the establishment of USL Pro, as it was called, in 2011. These teams played in the first ever match here 5 years ago. Lucky Cristiano, as we said in the open, ruined the opener. The Hounds actually scored first there, ushering in a new era of Riverhounds soccer. The Hounds have been around since '99. His turn to try to knock it up the touchline was Jordan Dover. Lily likes to see his wingbacks get active on the attack. It'll be Dover on our near side and Lee on the far here in the opening 45 minutes. Dover hops on it, gave it away, trying to hook up with Cristiano Francois. Now Dover right in front of us. Holds it just inside the line and now picked off by Calvin Resende of Penn FC. To the foot of Mauro Estacchio. His dish cross field is flicked on for the pickup, or the attempted pickup, of Dan Metzger, familiar name in this league, formerly of New York Red Bulls 2, was a member of that championship squad 2 years ago.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy at the moment. There was an opportunity there with the through ball, but I think they would have been offside anyway. But a quick throw in by Kevin Kerr, and again, it's going back and forth real, consistently. 2 or 3 touches on each team, and then turning it over. And obviously some butterflies out there, some nervousness, and they got to get that out of their system in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes,
Bob Lilly's known for instilling defensive structure, discipline, but he doesn't want to be pigeonholed as a defensive coach either. Yeah, when his teams have the lead, it's tough to beat them. You know that from facing Rochester over the years if you're a Riverhound. Yeah. Boy, do you know that. The Rhinos lost just 1 time in 2015, all season, winning the championship under Lilly's guidance.
And I think his thought is, a good defense is a good offense. And here we go now on a great attack. What an opportunity.
Francois pushes it back. Kerr, Parks misses from about 15 yards out. Good combination play that worked for the Hounds at Nashville last week. Quick passing in the attacking third.
And that's good so early in the game, and I've got to keep that momentum going.
Both teams searching for their first goals of the season, too. I mentioned blanked on the road were Penn FC. At Charleston, Blackbaud Stadium, that's a difficult place to win in this league.
It was a weird bobble-in ball that he was trying to hit on the first time and couldn't quite connect.
Kevin Kerr, number 10, one of the familiar faces. He's been here since the beginning, since this team arrived at Highmark Stadium in 2013, in this era, I should say. Kerr played in 32 matches last year, leading this club. That one bastion of consistency last year under Dave Brandt. So many injuries, so many difficulties for a team that finished 8-12-12 and out of the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. Here's Penn FC trying to get something going. Heineman clicking one up ahead. Lucky Cristiano with those long locks flowing behind him. Couldn't force it into the box. Kevin Kerr battling there. He'll win it with the help of Thomas Vanke Usl. The Frenchman lays it on back, and now forward for Parks. Couldn't control. But here's Joe Holland, who had a couple of looks last week. The feed off to Vanke Usl. But a giveaway.
Yeah, that was a bad giveaway. He was trying to get the ball to start switching the play, and now
Resende up ahead, picked off by the backtracking Joe Holland out of the midfield. 10th overall pick in the MLS Super Draft last year. 5 appearances for the Houston Dynamo in 2017 for Joe Holland. This loose ball bounces off the leg of Jordan Dover, and Penn FC will have the throw in right in front of Bob Lilly and the Riverhounds bench.
Bob is out there pointing right away and getting on their case, and wants them to be, I think, keep possession a little bit more, not the ball like a hot potato here, pouncing and getting rid of it and miscuing and turning it back and forth over.
Plenty of play in the middle third of the field. Now hightailing it back is Ray Lee to bop it away from the chasing Estacchio. Estacchio with the throw back, and now Penn FC wants to establish some possession here on the artificial pitch on the banks of the Monongahela River. Matt Geica with Paul Child coming to you from the press box. We'll have Gene Klein with us at some point later this season. If you've watched our broadcasts in the past, you know Gene loves to mix it up with us up here. Dan Lind with the rollout. Lind, just the one save last week at Nashville. You know, it was off the foot of Lebo Moloto, former Riverhound, in fact.
Oh, really? And yeah, that's not too much pressure.
Not at all, no. The Hounds did very well last week to shut down the team trying to show off on its home pitch. Casano with a turning drive, and that's blocked right in front.
That was a good block for sure.
Looked like it was Joe Greenspan who got in the way. He led the team in clearances last week.
He's a big guy. He can get in the way there, Matt. And obviously that really helps the goalkeeper too, you know, and they're not quite sharp at some time, and you can get a player that's really making an effort and blocking everything that's taken on the edge of the box, and gives him a lot of confidence too.
Greenspan has 8 appearances in the MLS to his name. 10 starts last year. He was here on loan from Minnesota United and did well enough. The Hounds wanted to bring him back. Bob Lilly was excited about getting, as you mentioned, Paul, the big man there in the middle of the back line. And now Greenspan touches it off on cue right to Dover, who has some time and space. On back to Greenspan. 9th minute, no score here in Pittsburgh. Riverhounds playing their second of 34 matches on the season. 17 home matches coming your way.
A long ball, but again, Penn FC just calming it down and keeping possession for a little while, looking for these long balls into the box. And
Lynn grabs this one. Metzger was hunting it into the 18-yard box. Dan Lind, New York native, last 2 years with Rochester, the Rhinos. The Rhinos are on a break, officially speaking. That's how the Hounds ended up with Bob Lilly. And with the rise, Paul, of the USL into official Division II status as the lone Division II league below MLS, that led to some coaching requirements that the Riverhounds' former bench boss, Dave Brandt, was unable to meet. It's kind of a strange situation there, but it also led to Bob Lilly ending up in Pittsburgh with the Rhinos going on break.
Yeah, definitely. It was a strange situation, but I'm pretty glad that we've got Bob Lilly. I mean, as a replacement, you couldn't want for a better coach, and with a team it's going a new direction, and he's the man for the job, I'm sure. And you're going to see as the season progresses, the team gets stronger and stronger, as most of his teams do.
Just 2 winning seasons in USL for the Hounds since they joined the league, since the league was put together in 2011. Kerr up ahead to Joe Holland, looking for a man, can't get it there in time. Penn FC defends it well.
Yeah, unlucky there, Matt. That was a good combination, just didn't get Kerr didn't get the touch on the ball that he wanted to get it to Holland, I don't think.
You can see an adjustment for the Hounds after last week. They played on a wet field, raining all day in Nashville. It's been a dry day here in Pittsburgh, a lot of rain recently. We might see some showers later tonight, but on this artificial surface, it's hot. And now Greenspan lets that ball go right through. He thought Dover was going to get it. Dover thought the opposite. No one picked it up.
No communication, and I think Bob's getting on their case that, hey, talk to each other, tell him, and let him know, let the ball come, or use your ball, and it didn't happen. I think he wants Dover to start pushing up a little bit more too. He's got a lot of space in front of him when he gets the ball, and he's not really taking advantage of it.
Francois, the native of Haiti, popped it upfield. He hit the post last week. Riverhound's best chance on the combo with Parks. Here's a takeaway on the far side of the field by Ray Lee.
That was a great steal there, and
getting it going, Lee.
And there's a nice ball for Kerr.
Right back to Lee in the corner, far side, right in front of the river. Off of Lee last rules the man in charge, Charles Murphy. About time to introduce him. You'll notice the officials in the bright red tops tonight. Charles Murphy, we've seen him plenty of times here on this field. Ross Kleinstuber and Corey Urachi are his assistants. The 4th official, Kervin Moon. Kervin will let us know stoppage and substitutions from the touchline here right in front of us at midfield.
There's another long ball. They're really looking for these high balls and long. They're trying to go wide, but you'd think they'd look for the target player, you know, number 29. He's a pretty tall player, and it seems like they just want to go wide, and then they're going to cross this ball into the box.
Salvatore Barone with a throw into Heineman. the big target that Paul was just telling you about. Heineman, 30 years old from Missouri, played last year for the NASL champion San Francisco Deltas. 45 MLS appearances, 4 goals. He had 9 goals last year in 29 games. Yes, he's a scorer. And quite the coup for Penn FC. He was initially signed by FC Cincinnati, failed the physical. Heineman filed a grievance with the league, won it, and was able to sign a new contract with Penn FC. So there you go. That's a win for Raul Voss and this revamped club.
He got fit real quick.
Evidently so. A dispute there in the examination room. And who knows what exactly happened, but Penn FC's fans will take that. It's the first of 3 straight road matches to start the year for Penn in the white here. Mauro Estaquillo pops it over on near wing. Barone tried to cross it right through. He had Metzger again on the hunt, but it sails out to the far side. Deep throw in for the Hounds in their defensive third. Ray Lee will handle that one.
Yeah, they definitely look like they're looking for those high balls into the box for Heineman to get on the end of, and he overran that one, but Metzger was on the other back post and had a little shot at it.
Dan Metzger, a player to watch. 2-time ACC Player of the Year at Maryland before his pro career started. Look at Kevin Kerr with that work right over on the far touch line, wins the throw.
Yeah, Kevin's in kind of a different kind of position for him. He used to play more on the right, and obviously in the middle of the park last season, because his work rate is tremendous and he wins a lot of balls and changes the possession. So we might see him sneak in a little bit later on here into the middle more. That's a great ball.
Dover fires, big stop made by Peiser, punching it away. Corner kick, Pittsburgh, first corner of the match.
Yep, that was a great effort there.
Boy, Dover got all of it, and I thought for a moment it was ticketed for top left corner.
Yeah, keeper did well, actually.
Dover taking that combination ball and
got a perfect bounce for a volley, yeah.
So here's Kerr to take the corner kick for the Hounds, now known as Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC officially, soccer club. The in-swinger and headed just wide. Greenspan, the center back, getting up there and got a touch, but missed.
Yeah, the big guy, I'm going to call him from now on, because boy, he was head above everybody else there, and I would imagine that Bob works on a lot of these set plays, especially from free kicks and corner kicks, and I expect the Hounds to become very efficient at that.
Penn FC did not mark Greenspan well at 6'6", 209 pounds, out of Westfield, New Jersey. Joe Greenspan, 2-time USL Player of the Week last season for Pittsburgh, making a great impression. And here he is again, winning that header, this time in his defensive third, right in front of the box. Estaquillo tried to pop one on net, but that was blocked. Blocked by Ray Lee over there. Or pardon me, Toby Adewale, actually. Lee more on the flank, Adewale more centrally located. Canardo Forbes, one of the former Rhinos on this team, switched it up to Vanka Yazil. That was Vanka Yazil, played at Rob Vincent's alma mater, the University of Charleston, West Virginia.
This is where Dover's got to take off with the ball. He's got the space in front of him, but he keeps playing the ball back. He seems uncertain a little bit, and you know, I think Bob's going to get on his case a little bit more and make him push forward.
I wonder if he's seeing something out of Penn that he is confused by. Not sure, but here's Francois Cristiano playing it through. Wanted to hook up with Parks, but they got their lines crossed.
I think he's really worried about his defending more than, you know, when he has possession of the ball, and it seems like he's hesitant to go forward, so he looks for the easy way out and lays it back. But I think I know this guy can fly, so I can see him going down the right wing here when he's got the space.
Greenspan nods it up. Holland with the collect. And now Kevin Kerr, the distribution out to Dover here. See what he can do this time. Drives it ahead. He wanted to find Parks at the tip of the spear for the Hounds. It's belted into touch by Penn FC. Yeah, so Dover quick to get rid of it here in this first half. He's had plenty of touches on the ball.
Yep.
We know that much. Canardo Forbes just finished up his indoor season with the Syracuse club, and now he's here under the open skies. Good feed over to a wide open Thomas Vunke Yazil. The Hounds number 25. Gave it back on the overlapping run from Lee. This is Holland flicking it on. Kevin Kerr
Corner kick.
was running up looking for it. So was Vunke Yazil. It's off of Penn FC last, and another corner won by the Hounds. Second corner of this opening half, and again it'll be Kevin Kerr with the right foot from the left flag. And here we take a look at Kerr getting that attack going.
That was a nice little chip into the area for him, and obviously didn't connect with it. But here we have
Kerr tries again, and Greenspan couldn't get ahead on it that time. Dropped right down onto the noggin of Eustaquio, and Penn survives another corner kick.
looks like they're on these corner kicks, Matt. They're going to the near post instead of using, going to the far post with the big guy. And it seems to be. It might change, obviously. I'm sure they've got 2 or 3 set players, but he seems to be always ahead of the near post, and he's got to do some kind of special head to get it on target.
Parks and Francois trying to hook up on the near wing, and now Dover feeds it up ahead to no one in particular. That's a goal kick for Penn FC. Last week, down in Charleston for Penn FC, the 1-0 loss, just the 3 shots. This team had a lot of issues last year. They had the second worst goal differential in the Eastern Conference, the 16-team East here in the USL. 28-4 and 47 against for Penn FC. Even though they finished a few points ahead of the Hounds had a much better goal differential. There's a foul called against Penn FC in the midfield.
Oh, that's
restart.
A great quick
Here
start.
comes Parks ahead of the pack. Missed the goal from the top of the box.
Boy, he wants that one back, I'm sure, because that was an opportunity. I thought he could fake a shot and then probably take the goalkeeper on. He had that much time and didn't take advantage of it. And again, first game, nerves. That would have been great for him to get that in the back of the net and build his confidence.
Romeo Parks last year, 3 goals, 3 assists in 19 appearances. Bob Lilly was saying in the pregame he wants Parks to refine his runs a bit, give his teammates better targets. In that case, off the quick restart, he was available.
Yeah, he was looking for that one all the way, and it was a good, quick free kick.
Here's another free kick, this time won by Kevin Kerr. Kerr, the Scotsman, sporting the beard. Last week he got banged up, ended up having to wear the bandage over his head. Looked like a guy coming back from the trenches, honestly. He finished the game, of course. Kerr is tireless back there. Adewale volleys it. Now Vunke Yazil has the ball at his foot. Slips it on back to Dan Lind, who pops it out of trouble. Kasana couldn't win it for Penn FC, and right back to Adewale, and there's Dan Lind again on the end of it.
And this is where Dover's got to get this ball and take off with it, because there's just one. If he gets the pass, he's got a lot of space in front of him.
21st minute, Hounds and Penn FC scoreless at Highmark Stadium. Canardo Forbes looking to generate.
Yeah, that was a tough ball to, behind the player, Holland, I think it was, and couldn't do anything with it.
That was Ray Lee who maybe put a little too much on it and behind Holland, so the Hounds have to regroup here. Back in their own third, Greenspan under some pressure, and he's frustrated with himself there. He couldn't do better with it. He concedes the throw deep, just about 5 yards from the corner flag. Right in front of those new seats here at Highmark Stadium. Seating has been expanded to 5K to conform with Division II regulations, and you see those 2 rows there along the riverside of this facility, 5 years old. Hounds regain possession. Parks just inside the touchline. Fine little play on back for Forbes ahead. Here's Kevin Kerr. He's onside, but roaming well out of his goal is Pizer to head it clear. Parks right here again, regathering the orb. Parks ahead. Put it off the foot of a Penn player, but a foul called against Penn FC.
Yeah, good situation again for us here. And Bob talking to Greenspan here, and and telling him to get it organized back there a little bit more.
Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Yes, Select, the new ball of the USL. Holland going shoulder to shoulder there with Kenny Tribbett, and Tribbett shields him off legally, winning the goal kick.
Got caught up in his feet a little bit there. I thought he was going to get a corner kick, but got stuck.
Tribbett's one of just a couple of returners on this team, 25 years old, from Colorado. Split last year between the Philadelphia Union of MLS. He has 23 appearances at the top level here in America, and also Bethlehem Steel FC of the USL last year. 1 goal in 12 appearances in this league at this level in 17.
Well,
Bernardo Forbes.
Did well there to win that. Kevin
Kerr.
starting to creep into the middle like I thought he would do, and there's a great ball there. That's what we want to see.
On to Cristiano Francois, edge of the 18, swings it across, and Parks put it over the crossbar. 2 gold-plated chances for the Hounds' top striker, and he can't finish. We remain scoreless in the 24th minute.
Yep, that.
Well, that's exactly what the Hounds are looking for, though, in the build-up.
Oh, exactly. That was a great advantage for them. I mean, they broke out from the side here and took off with it and got a great cross right in front of the keeper, and he couldn't do anything. All Parks had to do there was really get that on the target.
Just had to get on top of the ball, and he couldn't do it on the short hop, the half volley, if you're a tennis fan. That's what that looked like, but he couldn't keep it down. And so we remain scoreless after that promising-looking burst up the right wing. Dover to Francois. Been impressed with Cristiano Francois.
Yeah, and the other thing, Matt, we are creating chances. I mean, we've had 3 chances at least, and you know, looked very, very well. Should have had probably a couple of goals, but obviously creating the chances. I think Lind hasn't even had a shot at him yet, so this might be one right here.
Here's the free kick by Metzger, curling it in and headed clear by Greenspan, but that's a corner for Penn FC, its first of this match. And well, speaking of Francois, one of the carryover Rochester Rhinos that came with Bob Lilly, led the Rhinos with 6 assists last year. Should have had 1 to start the season just a moment ago, but now the Hounds have to go into defending mode. Salvatore Barone, first year Penn player, last year with the New York Cosmos of the NASL. Barone, both hands over his head. Now he's ready to put the left foot into it. Swings it in and headed just wide. What a chance.
I thought that was on. Well, from where we are, it looked like that was going in the
Sure
top right-hand corner, but I'm glad it didn't. But obviously it was a great opportunity, and he had a lot of space there. It was free.
We'll look at the replay. Tribbett, the defender, just missing.
Yeah, kind of made a late run and just got on the end of it in deflection. And those are the ones that usually, if you get them on target, they go in.
Ray Lee churning those legs up ahead. Ends up banging that ball off the body of Marco Franco. Actually, no, it's ruled to be off of Lee last. So the visitors get the throw. Skies darkening to our left. We are looking at showers later tonight. It wouldn't be a Riverhounds match if we didn't have some rain in the forecast, I suppose. But that makes the first goal all the more important. If the weather gets bad, easier to hang on to those leads, so the play could bog down. So urgency high right now for both these squads. First match of the Keystone Derby Cup.
Handball there, so it's a free kick to the Riverhounds right now.
Kasana handled that, former Dartmouth Big Green star. Out of Zimbabwe, 30-year-old Lucky Kasana. Lucky's a good name for a striker, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You need some luck in this game.
Yeah.
Hounds throw coming up. Francois will let Dover take the honors. And he does. Right to the feet of Forbes, back to Dover. Bernardo Forbes, the Jamaican native, has some caps for the national team program.
It was a tough ball for Holland to even do anything with. He hit it in hard and it came off the ground about 3 feet high. You know, those balls have got to be down into his feet so he can shield it and maybe get a turn on the defender.
Dover's throw right to the chest of the tall, lanky Romeo Parks. Vanka Yazil right back to the Hounds back line. Adewale. Ray Lee hammers it ahead. Off the skull of Thiago Calvano. 36-year-old Brazilian defender.
Well cleared there by Greenspan.
Greenspan's backtracking again. He's going to try to win this ball against Heineman. Can't do it there. Metzger, the volley right back to Heineman. Collapsed upon by 2 Hounds and then off a Riverhound. And into touch here right in front of the main stand area at Highmark Stadium. Matt Geico with Paul Child bringing you the play-by-play and color respectively. Honored to be with you again, bringing you the broadcast from on site. There's a fine touch from Cristiano Francois to Holland.
It's a great build up here and a good pass.
Lee to Kerr.
Kevin will look for this cross. That's a good ball.
Kerr puts it in right into the breadbasket of Pizer. Fake the rollout. No, he's going to let his teammates get up ahead.
I don't think it was quite where he wanted it. It was a little bit too close to the keeper. You know, he needed to get that out to more between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box.
Romu Pizer, who trained with Paris Saint-Germain as a youth, punts it into the Riverhounds half of the field. Battles on for possession. Vanka Yazil has it, and he has Parks. He's onside. No, I spoke too soon. The flag is up. That was a late flag, and maybe with some help from head coach Raul Voss as he discusses things with the assistant referee on the near side.
I think he was his assistant there. He yelled and screamed because he could see. I thought he was offside as well, but
thought so too.
He made the linesman make his mind up.
That's got to be making Coach Voss nervous, though, to see Parks running free so often in this first half. At some point, he's going to connect if he keeps getting these glorious opportunities, you'd imagine.
Yes, he's got to. We need him to.
Turning this one around, Calvin Resend just inside the corner, put it to the middle. Open man Metzger blocked right in front by Adewale, I believe. What a defensive play, and now the Hounds can rush up with it.
That's a great ball, too.
Holland to Parks, nods it away from the defender Tribbett. Parks turning the corner into the box.
Oh, that's
tripped up. It should be a penalty. And what is the call? They're just calling a goal kick.
Yes, it's a goal
kick.
kick.
They're saying it was embellished by Romeo Parks.
Boy, that's
had all the looks of a PK.
That's a poor call, actually. I mean, he had him beat, and the only thing the defender could do was bring him down.
Mercy. And right in front of the Steel Army, too. That's not very popular.
Oh, look.
It looked like Tribbett clipped Parks' foot as he went to strike it.
Yeah, he caught his right foot as he was trying to get it over to his left to have a shot off. And,
Penn FC avoids danger. These two teams played in the preseason, and it was a 3-2 Riverhounds win here. 2 of those goals were PKs. So they've had some trouble containing the Hounds. I know preseason's preseason, but still you can read a little bit into that. Dover holding it up, firing ahead. Hounds get a bounce here as it comes right to Forbes, but he couldn't slide it through to Francois. Throw in Pittsburgh.
A little bit too quick with his decision making there. He could have gone another 2 or 3 yards further forward and created some chances. And,
Kerr's offside on the far wing. Oh, he had something going off the feed from Holland, and Holland actually got an arm up on Mauro Eustachio, and Eustachio is still down, writhing on the pitch in apparent pain. He's being checked on by Charles Murphy, the head referee.
Yeah, and Bob having a little chat here with Holland, and going to try to get him to show probably for the ball more, or make diagonal runs to try and get some Dover and Greenspan to start hitting him.
Bob Lilly is assisted by Mark Pulisic, his former teammate at George Mason way back in the day. Soccer fans know that last name, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Pulisic was with Rochester last year. Dan Visser, a carryover from the Dave Brandt coaching staff, also assists Lilly. Hunter Gilstrap, the goalkeeping coach for Pittsburgh. And it looks like Eustachio is going to jog off the pitch here. Doesn't appear to be a substitution, but he'll have to step to the sideline at least for a little bit after stopping play. 25-year-old from Canada. Trained in Portugal. Mauro Eustáquio, wearing number 20 for Penn FC. Played for Edmonton of the NASL last year. I think we have bad weather in Pittsburgh in the springtime. What about Edmonton for soccer? My goodness. Greenspan back for it for the Hounds.
Oh, there's a good ball.
It is right on the money almost for Francois. Cleared away from him by the captain, Kenny Tribbett of Penn FC. And Dover wanted a quick throw, but now he realizes the Hounds need to get set. Vanka Yazil flashing to the ball, so is Joe Holland. He'll take it here.
Nice back heel.
Lovely back heel flick to Vanka Yazil. Couldn't quite handle. Dover saves it inbounds. Francois pops it off of a Penn FC leg.
Quick throwing, yep. And
couldn't quite make it happen off Park's giveaway. Toby Adewale, the 22-year-old. Grad of George Washington University, off here for Kenardo Forbes. Vanka Yazil getting some token pressure from Calvin Resend from the backside, but he made the move after controlling the ball. 34th minute. 11 to go before the half.
That's a great
give
ball.
Or take. Look at that one for Kevin Kerr. He's offside, called again by the near side assistant referee. And Kerr puts his hands to his face. He's not agreeing with these flags going up in the first half.
The coach for Penn FC got to the linesman, I take it. But I couldn't tell that one, Matt. But it was a great ball. But the ball was in the air for a long, long time. So I wouldn't imagine he wouldn't have been offside, you know. But I can see why he's holding his head.
Vanka Yazil clears it away. The Division II Player of the Year in college soccer last year. Thomas Vanka Yazil played all 90 minutes last week at Nashville. Gradually warming to the task. Forbes with a hard-won ball just outside the Riverhounds box. But his lead delivery too far for Romeo Parks to collect. And here's Romu Pizer pounding it up ahead. Strong leg shown off by the keeper. Most keepers have that ability. Heineman rising to it. Hounds can't win it. Tapped away from them by Resend. Now on the near wing, Salvatore Barone pressured hard by Dover. Cristiano Francois, the midfielder, way back there to try to keep the ball in play or at least get the goal kick, and he succeeds in that latter mission. Riverhounds have a chance to regroup.
Did well shielding the ball there, trying to keep the player from getting to it, and did the job. So that's the first time we've seen Penn FC go down there for the last 5 minutes or so. So seems like the Hounds are getting the ball possession a little bit more.
Dan Lynn drives it ahead. 11 appearances for Rochester last year. 3 clean sheets, a 1-2-7 goals against. Bob Lilly's style is typically forgiving for his keepers. They put up some nice numbers. There's a foul called here. Calvin Resend was hit from behind by Dover, the Hounds wing back.
Ball smacked him in the nose and, from the push. So
Kenny Tribbett puts his palm to the ground, saying he wants to hang on to it for a bit before the free kick. Greenspan again. I think he's going to lead this team in clearances for the second straight week. He's off to a fine start. Barone, the 22-year-old from Brooklyn. The throw in, he's looking for Mkasana, but it was off Mkasana's foot. And right back to the Hounds, it's delivered. The Riverhounds will alternate home and road matches for the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks actually of this season. So we'll see you back here in 14 days' time. Hear exclusive stories directly from USL's players in USLsoccer.com's From the Pitch, written and video content that provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. That's From the Pitch on USLsoccer.com. We're coming to you here from the banks of the Monongahela River as Francois is going to get called for the body check here, basically. And Francois going over to plead his case. Charles Murphy pointing over at Eustáquio, telling him to back off, and Maybe trying to get Francois to scram too after the foul was called. Both players going up for it. Here's a replay. Tribbett belted down to the pitch.
Yeah, he kind of caught him off balance there and got underneath him. He knew he was there, so he did give him a yellow card, so I thought he was going to.
So a booking here for Francois in the 38th minute.
A yellow card has been issued to the Riverhounds, number 7, Cristiano Francois.
A yellow card for a dangerous foul. We're broadcasting on Pittsburgh CW in addition to our usual video feed on the USL's YouTube channel. You can follow along with the stats on uslsoccer.com too. It's all right there. Matt Geica with Paul Child. Creeping toward the end of the first half, scoreless first half. Hounds have had their chances. Penn FC hanging in there so far. I think they'd say they're playing a decent road game to this point, as they did last week in a scoreless first half at Charleston. Kerr doubles back, wanted to lift it past the defending of Marco Franco, could not. And Penn FC gets a quick throw on the far side. Metzger tossing it back into play. Heinemann's looking for a cross. And that was Dover getting into the middle to head it clear.
Hound's got a lot of players back in time as well, a lot of bodies to go through, Matt, and that's what's important. I'm sure Bob likes to see that, where they're working hard for each other to make sure that there are any opportunities. And here goes Parks again. He's 1-on-3 here and looking for some help. Doing well, holding it up, did well with it.
Got it to Francois, does Parks, and Parks was hit in the back. That's a foul, and that'll be a dangerous free kick. Just about 8 yards outside the box, and the Hounds have a chance in the 40th minute to make something happen. Doesn't appear to be a card, though, even though there was quite a bit of force applied on the tackle. That was Tribbett, in fact, and he followed through the shoulder of Francois on the aerial ball.
Payback.
Maybe. Yes, the same two players who just came together on the near side.
Yeah. I would think Kerr was going to take this, but it looks like Holland is setting the ball up to strike it. Or maybe Kerr's going to just...
Joe Holland, the Englishman, boots it over the top. Holland rubbing his face and his head after that.
Yeah.
A lot of work, and then ends up being a nothing play after the kick sails into the stands.
Well, that is frustrating. You get these opportunities and then you just waste them. You know, it's like corner kicks, free kicks, and dead ball situations like that. And obviously, you know, they practice this, and Holland's obviously being hit in the net, and he's the guy to take it, and probably be somebody else next, Kerr or somebody.
On the carousel there, I would imagine Kerr might get an opportunity. Parks off the deflected ball. Romeo Parks is onside. He's ahead. Can he get around the keeper, Pizer? No, he'll lay it back to Holland. Tees it up, drives it toward the box. Now a second opportunity, big save by Pizer.
And another one coming up here, a great chance.
Holland crossing, Tribbett clears, not all the way out though. And with some help from Resend, Penn FC survives again. Parks, well, Penn FC is pushing up. They're trying to catch him offside. And they have a couple of times, but they've also been beaten a couple of times.
Yeah, they're really hesitant. They're kind of like uncertain. Sometimes they're getting out of there and catching people offside, but sometimes they're not. And that was one instant right there. And obviously this coach is getting on the fourth official for some reason. I don't know what that does for you, but you know, he's getting on the linesman again on this this side of the field in regards to calling offside.
It's a long discussion between Raul Voss, first-year Penn FC coach, and the fourth official, Kervin Moon. Adewale dumped it right back to his keeper, Dan Lind, who sends it out of danger. Calvin Resend switching it up. He wanted to find Tommy Heinemann, first game as a Penn FC player. Heinemann couldn't command it, but the Hounds just push it out.
Yeah, Kerr couldn't keep that one in there. It was way too hard, and he was being put under pressure as well. So,
two 30-year-old strikers for Penn FC, Heinemann and Umkasana. And so you wonder if they'll have 90 minutes in them or not. Look out here. A dodgy touch from Jordan Dover off the chest, but Dan Lind is able to recover in time. He had Resend right there in his face. Hounds trying something left flank, won't work. Right in on Pizer, the keeper.
Yeah, looking for that long ball, and Holland not looking for it, you know. Looking for the midfield players to bring it up the field a little bit more, getting into the offensive third of Penn FC.
Aerial ball, Vanka Yazil rises to it. Penn FC is going to find a way to keep it in, it appears here. Barone facing resistance from Dover. Crossing back to volley it was Forbes. And now Francois called for the foul, it appears here, on Barone, who is grabbing at his left leg, fixing his shin guard. Bob Lilly incensed at that call. Happened right in front of him.
Yeah, I think Barone put on a good act actually there. If you look at this, I think they're saying that, you know, oh, that's a different play. But,
and here's your replay to look at. Francois going over the top. Looked like he tried to avoid the contact, didn't do it totally, of course, there, and it's a judgment call from that point for Charles Murphy.
Yeah, I think Barone kind of like put his body in the way to get that free kick, and came away with it.
Metzger to the edge of the 18. Greenspan again. Who else to win it? 44th minute. Can't imagine we'd have too much extra time on the first half. Maybe one or two.
Yeah,
we'll find out in a bit. At times, the Hounds have had some great looks here in this opening half, and the ball was knocked out of his hands.
That's a yellow card.
It should be an automatic yellow.
Delay of the game there, because they were going to take a quick one, and he knew that he was out of position, and he was going to get caught with it. Yeah.
It is Barone booked for unsportsmanlike in the 45th minute of the first half. That's a yellow you'd rather avoid. Those add up to a certain point, and that's a very inexpensive one to pick up. But imagine if you want to get a yellow card. If you do end up with a yellow card, you'd rather it be on a hard foul or something that's related to gameplay, not that.
Exactly.
So that'll be in the books. One yellow card each. Holland couldn't get over to take that ball. And it's at the back line. Tiago Calvano skies it over toward the Monongahela River. Forbes, those orange boots. Tapped it to Vanka Yazil, but Vanka Yazil gave it away. Metzger running into trouble in the form of Ray Lee, but Metzger made the nice pass. And here comes Heineman getting to the end of this ball, putting it off the leg of Dover. Corner kick, Penn FC.
I don't know whether he was trying to shot on goal there, or trying to just hit it hard and low back across the box for somebody else to come into it. It was a good idea. I mean, good defending though too, to get that block in again.
We'll add 1 minute. This is Penn FC's second corner kick. Each team has a deuce here in this first half. They've had a couple of looks. Metzger, Mr. Everything here in this first half, plays it short. He'll get it right back, and well, he wanted to swing it in. The Hounds pressured him. Barone, he'll try the lefty boot toward the far edge of the box, and it's cleared off and out of danger by the Riverhounds. A throw in for Penn FC. We're getting down toward the end of the first half. Just 1 minute added on. And Penn FC just taking its time. Maybe they're content with a 0-0 score at the half. As the road team, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it looks like it. But they're looking for somebody. Maybe this guy's got a long throw.
It is a deep throw, so Franco gives it a shot, drove it low, headed back right in his direction, and you hear the double whistle for the end of the first half. Romeo Parks close on a couple of occasions to pick up the opening goal of this match, but both teams still seeking their first goal of the USL season here in match number 2. We shall return here on Pittsburgh CW and the USL's YouTube channel. We'll go over some highlights, though, first of all, from the first half. Kevin Kerr, as we see now, in discussion with Charles Murphy, the captain, as is his prerogative, taking a look at it and having a talk with the three men in red.
Make sure you cast your vote for the USL Goal of the Week every Monday evening at USLsoccer.com.
Recap what we just saw and set things up for the second half right here on USL's YouTube and Pittsburgh CW.
Brings you the best from across the league with news, highlights, and interactive features. Like the USL on Facebook.
Ow.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm sorry. Okay.
that one little bit.
A little bit right here.
Yeah, right there.
Well, it looks like we can treat this in just a cast. So is this your first time getting a cast?
Yes.
Does it feel nice?
Yeah, it feels nice.
Call 412 Doctors for a same-day appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
Nightfall has arrived here in Pittsburgh. Final day of March. No score on the board so far through 45 minutes in the opening match of the Keystone Derby Cup, fourth year for the Cup competition. 3 matches in the season series. And, well, so far for both teams on the season, Paul Child, we have no goals on the board for either side. So, I don't know if there's any frustration setting in, but definitely they have to be wondering when that first one's going to come, especially for Pittsburgh, all the chances that the Hounds had in the first
No, they've
half.
had some great opportunities, Matt, and obviously should have counted on them. You know, Parks had 2 great chances. Hopefully the third one he gets, he's going to put away. I think the Hounds actually had more opportunities than Penn FC. Penn FC kind of got into the game really late here in the last 10 minutes or so, and the Hounds kind of like taking long crosses and corner kicks and throw-ins and clearing them out, and the keeper actually getting involved a little bit.
Penn FC lost the opening week. The Hounds got that 0-0 draw at Nashville. So the Hounds have a point. Penn FC, as we look ahead here for this rebranded club in the USL, one of the long-standing members of the USL. As I mentioned, 3 consecutive road matches to start at Atlanta United 2, then Charleston Battery and Nashville at home. So we'll have a home stand there at FNB Field, the home of the Harrisburg Senators of AA baseball, then right back on the road for a couple in a row at North Carolina and at Tampa Bay Rowdies, one of those teams that made the jump over from the NASL a couple of years ago. And for the Hounds, as I mentioned, on the season here to start, we'll see an alternating schedule. The Riverhounds, with a tie to their credit, hoping to pick up all 3 points here tonight. They will go back to the road at Toronto FC 2, right up in Markham, Ontario, or Vaughan, Ontario, I should say, at the Ontario Soccer Centre. And then on from there, Ottawa Fury, another one of those NASL teams. And then at FC Cincinnati, that's going to be a tough one, always a rabid crowd there. That city has taken to pro soccer so well. It's a lot of fun to see that. And Atlanta United at home, Toronto FC on the road. So 2 matchups against Toronto FC 2. A chance to maybe make some hay there. That first one actually will be at BMO Field, the home of the senior or the top club, the MLS club, Toronto FC. So I apologize there. That first one for the Hounds will be on a big stage And, well, they played on the big stage last week, did the Hounds, at Nissan Stadium, the home of the NFL's Tennessee Titans. We'll step out here and send it to part 3 of an ongoing interview series here on the USL's YouTube channel. Jake Edwards, the league president, discussing the progress of the USL.
Hi, we're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL. Just getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the USL Ownership Group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues. They bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different programs that our teams run. So for me, it's a privilege to get to work with all of these very experienced businessmen and women on a daily basis, and I'm just constantly thrilled by the commitment and investment they have into their local communities and ultimately into our sport. The new owners that are joining our league now are coming in every year with bigger ambitions. For us, we continue to drive value from a business point of view. The model continues to attract more and more sophisticated owners into the league, and that's something that we believe will have such a positive impact on the future of this league and the new initiatives that we want to embark upon.
Last year we surpassed 2 million in attendance. Talk about what your expectations are for this season and in terms of attendance at live games and just overall awareness of the league.
Yeah, our fans are the lifeblood of this league, as they are for every league. We've seen the support for our clubs grow exponentially. We're already significantly ahead of where we were this time last year on average per club for season tickets. I think it speaks to the excitement. It speaks to what's happening in the local communities. It speaks to all of the things we're trying to do, building new stadiums, creating more exciting, authentic environments, attracting better players, having a more competitive and compelling league. I think it's, at least for the league office here, a substantial investment in content production and infrastructure around the broadcast, around the digital and social. And so we take great pride in growing that area of the business and engaging with the fans from a team point of view and a league point of view.
Again, that was USL President Jake Edwards talking about this growing league. Matt Geico with Paul Child live. There you see the press box up above the top of your picture there. That's where we're stationed inside, but a very pleasant late March evening. I recall 3 years ago, Paul, against, well, this same Penn FC club, then known as City Islanders, the kickoff temperature was 19 degrees. But the Hounds' offense was hot that night. They got 5 goals. And in fact, Kevin Kerr had a couple of them. He has 6 over the past 3 seasons against Penn FC. So maybe number 10 is the one that the Hounds can count on in the second half for some offense. As for around the league, what a busy day in the USL. 15 games on the schedule. That's a new record. A couple of matches this past Wednesday, though. Orange County FC and Fresno FC, one of the newcomers, both get 1-0 wins in the middle of the week. And we've seen the 2 conferences look a little different in the early going in the first 2 weeks. 6 of the top 9 scoring teams stationed out west, and then we have the staunch defending of the East. East keepers loving that. 8 of the 14 total have been logged out this way. So it's a league, Paul, that, as we mentioned, with the NASL going on hiatus, it's got all the Division II caliber talent below the MLS. This is the best league bar none, so it's easy to be really bullish about the USL these days.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's great that we've got an established second division now, where we've been there's 3 divisions, 4 divisions, nobody really knowing what division you're in other than MLS, and obviously you know, they're Major League Soccer, and now we have the USL. They're a Division II, and that's so important. I just think for soccer fans out there that are getting into the game, it was always really complicated. Who's this NASL team? Who's this?
Tell me about it. Yeah, I tried to explain it myself over the years. And some clarity here.
Exactly, and it's been that way since I've been playing soccer. And it's kind of finally coming to the head now, where we're getting organised, and we have a Division I, Division II, PDL, and you know, organised a lot better.
We'll get it sorted. Speaking of which, look to next week, week 4, April 4th through the 8th. Tulsa at Portland Timbers. There's a great soccer town, Portland, Oregon. I'd love to get up there for an MLS match one of these days. FC Cincinnati, Louisville City, two of the real challengers in the East, you'd imagine. Louisville City, the defending champions. Nashville and Charlotte, some Southern soccer in that situation. And way out west, Sacramento Republic, one of the top drawing teams in all of pro soccer, MLS included, against Seattle. That's a 10:30 start next week. All of it you can look forward to at uslsoccer.com, Match Center, the links to the YouTube clips. We'll be back for highlights of the first half and the second half. Keystone Derby rolling on, first match of the season for both these squads against each other. Scoreless at the half.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That one a little bit.
A little bit right here?
Yeah, right there.
Well, it looks like we can treat this in just a cast. So is this your first time getting a cast?
Yes.
Does it feel nice?
Yeah, it feels nice.
Call 412 Doctors for a same-day appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
Here we go, second half, just moments away from Highmark Stadium. We're on the banks of the Monongahela River here. These two teams who played a match once called the Miracle on the Mon 3 years ago. The Riverhounds storming back from an incredible first half, second half deficit in fact. Yes, winning it 6-5. Maybe the best match I've ever seen anywhere. Definitely a privilege to be a part of it. Some chances here in this first half, Paul, as the teams got it going, but nothing close to what we saw in that Miracle on the Mon, at least so far. Scoreless at the half. Here's the Hounds with a build-up, and who else? Kevin Kerr getting this thing going with the drop-off for Francois. This was very early on, and Kerr stumbling, but still made the feed over to Parks.
Yeah, Parks not quite catching that ball perfectly. It was kind of a spinning. Got a top spin on it and went past. This volley was a great volley. It dropped perfectly, and the keeper doing a great job. And there's a great opportunity for Greenspan, who, you know, I expect on every corner to be very dangerous, and this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, you think that one's going to go in more often than not for Parks. You see Kerr with his hands on his head after that. And here's Francois with another great setup to Parks, who misses from the 6-yard box. And then Penn FC struck back off the corner. Ken Tribbett The flashing header just wide of the left post. And here was a look for Metzger and Toby Adewale laying out, getting down on that artificial surface to stop it, and then a close call here, looking for a PK where the Hounds and Romeo Parks.
Now, looking at it from that angle, it's a little bit different because the player did touch the ball first before Parks went down, and that's where the referee must have got that from. And
there's Holland getting denied by the lunging Penn keeper, Romu Peiser, at age 38, still spry in the goal. Shots 8-5. It felt like a little more lopsided, in fact. 2-0 on target. Possession in the Riverhounds' favor. Not a huge differential there, but they had the edge. And we saw the 3 offsides. Penn FC pressing up with its back line, and the Riverhounds have gotten behind him on 1 or 2 occasions. 1 yellow card for each side. Cristiano Francois for a dangerous foul in the 38th minute. That went to Pittsburgh. And for Penn, Salvatore Barone, a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. The ball's at the center dot. We're good to go for the second 45 minutes. Matt Geica with Paul Child, broadcasting from Highmark Stadium. What a gorgeous venue this is. I love it so much. I really do.
It's really nice.
It shows off our city so well, doesn't it?
It does. And it's even better when it's summertime.
Yes. Tonight, not a terrible night to be outside. A decent crowd for the opener here in Pittsburgh. The Hounds welcoming a new era. Bob Lilly in charge, just like Penn FC, with Raul Voss taking over. The only thing that's different is the Hounds didn't completely change their name like Penn FC did from Harrisburg City Islanders, which has been their name forever.
Yes.
These two teams have played so often in the 21st century. I'd have to imagine it's either the Rhinos or maybe the Richmond Kickers, whom the Hounds have played the most.
I think it's the
Rhinos.
Yeah,
it could be the Rhinos. Those teams have been in these various leagues, the A-League, back in the day to start in 1999 when the Hounds came into it.
We used to go up to Rochester when they were in the A-League and play in a baseball stadium. It wasn't soccer specific, and 20, 30, 13,000 every game.
It was quite the scene up there. It's sad to see Rochester out of the league this year, but you hope that they can get it back together and make it happen in Western New York. It's been a strong soccer market over the years, as you just said. Francois Cristiano takes a bump, keeps on ticking. Right over to Dover, into the box, just the edge of it, in fact. Parks is over there in the corner. Francois, the energizer. Francois, now Francois Cristiano couldn't control, and Penn FC gets the throw.
Yeah, Penn FC closing down the players with 1 or 2 players every time they get possession. Parks laying that ball out wide, and then as soon as I don't know, was it Dover over there or somebody?
I believe it is Dover, yes.
They closed him down with 2 players, putting him under pressure right away to win the ball back. Maybe their coach has been on their case too.
Look out here, Adewale overran it, but Dan Lynn, the keeper's there. Last line of defense. Just ended away from trouble. Chested down, right in front of us by Marco Franco, the Penn FC defender. Holland sprays it out. There is Dover on that right flank once again. Hounds slow it down though. Francois, the Haitian native. Bernardo Forbes out of Jamaica. And over on the near side, Toby Adewale. Adewale scanning his options, the 6'3" defender from Ashton, Maryland. Cleared it all the way over to the far touchline, but the Hounds are offside over there. And I want to say that's Francois. It is number 7.
Yeah, and he never really looked across the field because he was standing there just, ball watching and didn't realize he was standing 2 yards offside, and that's what you got to check out before the ball's hit, and at least step back.
The ball's important, but you can't keep your eye on it all the time. You have to know where you are on the field in those spots, those situations, when you might get flagged. Greenspan once and then twice takes control for the Hounds. Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC with a record of no wins, no losses, and 1 tie, and Greenspan takes a knock from Heineman. And Heineman being sent away by Charles Murphy, who, as part of his referee's duties, is going to check on Greenspan. 6'6" defenders back on his feet. 49th minute, no score. Keystone Derby Cup. This was the final score last week down in Nashville as the Hounds welcomed one of the newest additions to the USL. Pittsburgh and Nashville can now get together in the sport of soccer in addition to hockey and football.
These two are going at it, and the referees just finally went over there, and
Heineman and Greenspan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, face to face, and you know, obviously just having a chat.
Just a friendly discussion, I'm sure. Checking for post-match dinner plans.
Yeah, something.
Southside is right next door here. Plenty of options.
And they're still going at it now and again, but that's the way it should be as well, you know.
Yeah, so a good, I would say, lively match so far. We've seen some contentious moments back and forth, and these are really new teams, so you can imagine as the season goes along, as they play each other, you'll get a little more animosity bubbling to the surface.
Yeah, they're kind of feeling each other out right now and realizing, you know, the defender that marks me if I'm a forward, and you know what he did to me and made it difficult for me, and how I can fix that, and vice versa.
Funky Usl gets up to head it away from trouble, but then Ray Lee's about to be called for a foul. Marco Franco went tumbling down. Franco, one of the wing backs for Penn FC. Both teams play 3 central and then 2 wingers in the back. So you can make it into a 5-man back line if you need to.
Players dropping back.
We'll get a look at a replay on Lee's challenge, which got too much leg and not enough ball. Delay here as the Hounds will set up a 2-man wall. Forbes, and it looks like Joe Holland. And they'll be backed off by Charles Murphy. Clean sheets for both sides. Dan Lind in the Hounds' goal, and Romu Peiser in Penn FC's net. Back across the face of goal. Greenspan with the clear. Yeah, the big guy, as we've been calling him tonight. Barone could not get that past Greenspan. Throw for Penn FC. Dan Metzger hustles to the ball.
Penn FC coming out with a little bit more urgency than the Hounds at the moment, and starting to put pressure on, and I'm looking for the Hounds hopefully to win possession and get a breakaway here, a counter-attack.
Penn FC pressing numbers into the box, or at least to the edge of it. Jake Bond hasn't seen much of the ball, and he got shielded off by Romeo Parks, but the Hounds can't force it upfield. They'll have to defend again here.
Well, that's a push in the back there, and that's why he kicked it out of bounds, but the referee just letting that one go.
Franco got away with one on Kevin Kerr. You and I were discussing Kevin Kerr at the halftime break off air. We wonder if maybe we could see him dropping back into the middle a little bit more here in the second half to be more that playmaker with it that we've seen him be so often here in Pittsburgh.
Looks like Holland's kind of playing that position at this time, and just
there is Holland hammered, and Eustachio at least gives him a tap and sportsmanship there after sending Holland tumbling down.
The one thing with Kerr out wide though too, Matt, you know, he's a great passer of the ball, and he can really find players open. So I'm thinking that Bob's hoping that he'll get a ball and pick out a player going into the far post, or set somebody up to get an opportunity to shoot.
Dover hard work, but couldn't force it through a Penn FC defender. Ray Lee handles a hot pass, but gave it away. Out of bounds, in fact. Hounds backtracking, 53rd minute. Here on USL's YouTube channel, and Pittsburgh CW, one of just a handful of home matches we'll have on the local station. Thanks to everyone in the Pittsburgh area for tuning in, checking out the Hounds in their first match in the Bob Lilly era. If you're a USL fan, we're asking, have you got what it takes to beat the experts on USLsoccer.com? Show off your knowledge of the game by picking the right results of the USL's matchups each week of the season. Again, at USLsoccer.com, you can find that particular contest. Greenspan half volleys this in the direction of Kerr, has plenty of room and time, nods it past the midfield stripe. Umkasana was pulled down, but he made the play over to Franco. Franco getting more involved here in the second half. Ray Lee spun down, no call.
Yeah, legs getting tangled up there, and I'm surprised it wasn't a call, but
Eustachio to Franco, but his cross was right to the foot of Francois, the Hounds midfielder. Look out here. Greenspan has to backtrack to head it away from imminent danger. Penn FC rising to the occasion. Calvin Resend couldn't turn the corner on Dover, just barely keeps it in. Does a fine job, in fact, to get his foot around it.
Oh,
here comes Holland. He was brought to the ground, and that'll be a, well, we'll see if it's a foul or a throw-in.
I think it's a foul.
It will be a free kick for the Hounds.
But, you know, that, again, I mean, he was on a breakaway there, and defender knew he had no option to stop him, else he was going to go, and referee really not doing much about it. I didn't expect a yellow card, but could have talked to him and said one more time.
The warning before the warning, if you will. Dover right back to the Hounds back line, and there's Greenspan swinging it over right in front of us. Toby Adewale. Lee.
That's a nice ball.
Left-footed push, and it is a good one. Parks is going to be able to get there right inside the corner flag. Romeo Parks working against Jake Bond. A good one-on-one fight for the ball and for possession. Parks right there and pushed on top of the ball, and that will be a foul. And a de facto corner kick for the Hounds will be right there on the arc.
Yeah, that was a good job by Parks. He had no alternative but to try and hold on to that ball, because there wasn't anybody giving him any support, and did well, coming away with a free kick now.
Romeo Parks, 6'3", 195, used all that frame well. It's a frame similar to his countryman Usain Bolt, I think. Not quite as quick, not many are. Kerr into the box off the free kick. It's pushed right back on to Ray Lee. Lee right through, good ball, Kerr, but he couldn't get a clean touch on it. Last second defending by Franco on the near wing. Here's Heineman, hasn't had much action here in this second half. Gave it away in the middle of the field. He was trying to hook up with Metzger. Can the Hounds counter quickly? Francois hightailing it, trying to get after it, but he couldn't beat Kenny Tribbett to it. But it will be a deep throw for Pittsburgh.
Quick throw if he can. No, he's leaving it.
He will head into the box, Francois will, and Dover to do the honors in the 56th minute. I am Matt Geika. Paul Child is alongside. The Keystone Derby Cup up for grabs again this season. Both teams in search of their first goal of the year. It's taken a while. This is week 3, technically, but both teams took week 1 off, being in cold weather cities. Smart move there by the USL.
Yeah, really.
No need to play on St. Patrick's Day. So it's a pretty rough March for weather in Pittsburgh, and I'm imagining for Harrisburg too, in Harrisburg too. No longer the Harrisburg City Islanders, now Penn FC. Stripped of the ball was Eustachio by Venka Azil. Holland reaching up, and he wanted a call. He's not going to get it. Strong challenge there at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
Looked like ball first, though, and that's why there was no whistle. And here is a foul now against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, missed that one. I don't know what really happened there, whether hit somebody's hand or defenders are down at the back here, injured.
Checking his mouth is Kenny Tribbett, I believe, down on a knee. Here's a replay and a look at the foul called against Dover, who obstructed the Penn FC attacker. Okay, so we'll reset it. The Hounds outshot Penn FC 8-5 in the first half. They had the edge in possession, a much more evenly played, though, second half, and you could probably say that Penn FC's had the better of it.
Yeah, they've definitely been putting more pressure on than the Hounds at this time.
Greenspan. Oh, he wanted away from Heineman, but just another throw-in for the visiting team. Riverhounds dropping back to defend. Just Romeo Parks ahead of the ball at the moment. Joe Holland pressuring and just thrown right away to Francois. Unforced error for Penn FC gives the Hounds possession. Parks is back in his defending third, or the edge of it at least. Here's a good ball from Lee, but the flag is up on the far side. Again, Kevin Kerr is just caught one step ahead of where he should have been.
I don't know about that one too. Tough to see from here. I'd like to see a replay. I'm looking at there's kind of a line on the field, then you could see whether he was ahead of the last defender.
Yes, looks like the lacrosse lines are still down.
Yeah.
This facility gets some use in addition to the Hounds matches and practices, the Riverhounds youth teams play here from the academy?
Colleges and
colleges, right? Exactly. Point Park, I know, does play down here. I mentioned lacrosse too, in the WPIAL, which is the local high school affiliation, the high school athletic league in Western Pennsylvania. Throw in for Penn FC. Lee couldn't take command of the aerial ball. Franco hesitating a bit.
They really waste a lot of time with any of these free kicks and throw-ins. They just take forever, it seems, to get the ball back in play.
The hoist in. Kasana's fighting for it. Dangerous play there for a moment. Put right back into the mix, and Greenspan clears it away. That was off the foot of Salvatore Barone, who has been frisky from the left flank in this match.
Yeah.
Barone, a recent addition. As I mentioned, just 22 years old. It's a mix of some green players on the Penn FC side, and also Tiago Calvano, the 36-year-old defender, the 38-year-old keeper, Romu Peiser. Peiser won the Golden Glove Award in 2015 in the NASL, so just recently, in fact, he's been keeping his level up. Heinemann's header, easily handled on the bounce by Dan Lind, the one-time Pitt Panther from just across town in Oakland. Javelin throw out to the far side where Lee will have plenty of room, or pardon, Dover rather. Dover with the back pass. Vunky Azil has the whole field in front of him. Right back to Dover, turns on the Jets, now stops up, ran into some trouble. Hounds attack stagnating here in the second half as they get to the attacking third.
Yeah, really.
Nearly a takeaway right at the top of the attack from Francois, but right back in on Peiser. Slams it away from his 6-yard box. This is how Penn FC tried to get a point last week at Charleston. They tried to just pack it in. Here comes Francois, can't get it ahead of Peiser's header. Kevin Kerr with the ball up ahead.
Play it down here. In his back. He got hit in the back with that.
Metzger rolling over.
2 players down.
Yeah, one of the Penn players over there on the far touchline is rolling around. So 2 Penn players in some trouble. Now Kevin Kerr and Eustachio of Penn FC, they're having discussions with Charles Murphy, the head referee. Even Dan Lind was stepping up, and now Dan Lind makes the gesture to have his teammates calm down a little bit and not let their emotions get the better of them in the final half hour of this one. We're going to take a look at an injury-related replay here in just a moment. This was Metzger up in the Pittsburgh side of the field. Metzger reaching for his lower back, the small of his back. That's where he got the challenge from Ray Lee of Pittsburgh. I never could figure out what happened over there in front of those new Riverside seats.
Yeah, really.
But neither here nor there, as everyone appears to be at full capacity, or at least good enough to continue on. We've had no substitutions yet in this match, and one wonders when the first one does. We have, in fact, one coming up, Ben Zemansky for Joe Holland. That'll be, well, it's like I ordered it. I was looking for a sub, and there was one. Ben Zemansky, the midfielder, will come in for Holland. 13 for 4 on the next stoppage in play that allows for a sub. Here's a throw in for Pittsburgh, and well, Ray Lee wanted to put it right back into play, and he will not be able to. Substitution called for. Ben Zemansky, 29-year-old from Akron, Ohio, just up the road.
The Riverhounds substitution.
Played
number
for
13,
Portland.
Ben Zemansky in for number 4, Joe
The Portland Timbers 2 last year. Had also 33 appearances in MLS. Zemansky at age 29, one of several Hounds who played at the top level in this country. Francois.
Here's an opportunity right now.
Pressuring
take advantage
Barone.
of it.
Coming up with it and driving a shot was Dover over there on that far wing, and it got blocked, but a great opportunity. And another corner upcoming for the Hounds. Their first of this second half. 3rd overall in the game.
There was a nice chance there. saw the opening in front of him, going for it, which we haven't really seen this this half, and taking a shot and got blocked, but positive. Hopefully.
Kerr will take this. Szymanski lurking out at the top of the arc, rising up. Greenspan couldn't get a head on it. It's still loose in the box. Greenspan trying to gather, unable to do so, and Penn FC comes out of there with it. Mkasana holding it up a bit, overtaken. Dover one possession. Now he goes tumbling down. Funky Usl chasing over to the near side. Bond slid it away from him. Hounds back with it. So the corner kick does not lead to anything. Mkasana gets a foot on the attempted send by Adewale.
Adewale a little bit lucky there, because if that hadn't have bounced that way, it would have been. There's a great ball to Kerr.
Long ball to Kerr. Can't gather it in, but could he get a second chance at it? Stumbling down as Peiser gobbled it up was Kerr. No call there. Everything clean. Kerr just missing that long ball by about several inches. We'll get a look at this ball as Kerr curses himself under his breath coming back. Kenardo Forbes, the Jamaican midfielder, made that play upfield, but the Scotsman just a half step slow.
That's a great ball if they can get on the end of that.
Kerr to Francois right on net, and Peiser hops on it on the short hop. Francois with the whole net to shoot at. Couldn't bury. Kevin Kerr doing it again.
And the goalkeeper's down now, I don't.
Peiser, maybe a cramp, I don't know, because he appeared to be okay and survived the challenge of the shot. And we'll take a look at this opportunity one more time. Help coming for Peiser. We marvel at that ball from Kevin Kerr, and he had Parks, in fact, with him, did Francois. Wanted to let it go. Can't really fault him for that.
No, didn't quite catch it really well. Kind of wanted to volley it. I mean, it was a perfect situation to volley the ball, but you kind of got to get your timing perfect. And he could have even maybe lobbed it over the keeper. I mean, it's easy for us to say that up here, but I would have thought, you know, could have lobbed it over the keeper, or maybe even taken that one more touch.
Peiser was off his line, but with Francois coming at such full speed, that would have been quite the skilled play to chip. And he elected to go for the heat, and couldn't bash it through Peiser. And we might have an idea of what was going on here. Peiser, just as he went to kick that ball away, his right leg appeared to give out from under him. He's gotten some treatment, though, and he will stay in the match. Sean Lewis is the backup, by the way, for Penn FC if Coach Raul Voss needs to go in that direction. 6 appearances last season for the then Harrisburg City Islanders, which changed names over the winter. Kyle Morton's the backup for the Hounds, the backup keeper on his 24th birthday. In fact, happy birthday to Kyle. Former James Madison standout. So here is Peiser. More than a decade into his pro career, drives it up ahead. The battle is on. Heineman. Heineman gets by Greenspan, shoots one, but didn't get a lot on it. The two-hopper right into Dan Lynn's waistband. Lynn racking up a couple of saves here in the second half. Side-footed self-volley into the attacking third. Kerr chesting it, flicking it over his head, but he was just beyond the touchline. Throw in Penn FC, 68th minute of this one.
They chested it out, they couldn't get it.
The Riverhounds have not started with back-to-back clean sheets since 2013. They've also not blanked an opponent in a home opener here at Highmark Stadium, this facility opening in 2013 as well. This was the matchup in the first ever game at Highmark Stadium, a game that counted. Greenspan heads it away from the on-rushing Metzger. And now Greenspan calming things down to Funky Usl. Pardon, that was Barone putting the pressure on the far wing. Metzger's been more on the right flank in this one. Dover finds Francois, couldn't get by Tribbett. Staunch defending there, but a throw in for the Hounds.
See, I'd like to see Dover there, Matt, take off with the ball and take it, at least go 20 yards, 15 yards further, because knocking those kind of balls straight to players that are running straight in front of you, it's difficult they can even do anything with it. They've got to be a diagonal run, if anything.
Perhaps some adjustments that can be made in the final 20 here of a scoreless match. Bunky Usl called for handling the ball. Didn't chest it, got it with the elbow, it appeared. Just the one sub so far. Ben Zemansky in for the Hounds, replacing Joe Holland in the midfield. Zemansky wearing number 13. A signing of just this month, in fact. Appears to be a fine experience pickup for the Riverhounds. Maybe not a 90-minute player, at least at the moment. But at age 29, he's probably still got some jump left in those legs. The Hounds have just one 30-year-old, as here's Adewale, one of the younger members of the Hounds at 22, winning a foul call on that strong challenge against Luckiam Kasana. Riverhounds are all players in their 20s except for Dennis Chin, who did not dress tonight. Chin, the former Golden Boot winner in this league, several years back for Orlando City, 2012, before Orlando City hit the big time with the MLS.
That's a good ball again.
And that was Greenspan. Up to Kevin Kerr, who holds it up. Kerr to the middle. Couldn't be commanded by Forbes. Kerr tried to win it again, just inside the box. Bunky Usl holding, flicking. Good touch on that one. Good weight over to Ray Lee. Forbes puts it between the legs of Bond. Forbes fighting hard. Players go down. Forbes called for the foul. Canardo, Forbes a little too aggressive. And good sportsmanship, pulls up the man he was fighting for that ball. Canardo, Forbes, though, showing off the skills. 3 goals, 5 assists last year for the Rochester Rhinos. Went right between the wickets on Jake Bond. And then he and Tiago Calvano
Bob Lilly
went into a heap.
was talking to the 4th official saying he was doing a dive, and it definitely looked like it, and he got away with it. But
the defending player always gets the benefit of the doubt in their own box, just because of the importance of a call in that situation.
Yeah,
exactly. Of course, it would be a PK. It just seems to be the trend across the sport, no matter where you're playing it. Francois tackled down. Penn FC disputing the fact that the throw-in's been given to the Hounds. 72nd minute. It's been a little more of a conservative second half than the first half. The Riverhounds had the better of it in the first, more even in the second.
Yeah, definitely. Hounds kind of taken over in these last 5 or 10 minutes, though, and got some more opportunities.
Romeo Parks forced Picer to punch it out of his box area. Yeah, sure, right. The Hounds are connecting on more of these long balls, too. They've found Kerr.
Yep.
They found Francois on the far side. So you'd have to imagine Bob Lilly's pretty happy with this effort offside against the Riverhounds here. The combination play hasn't quite been there for the Riverhounds yet. That was really effective for them to generate offense in the second half last week at Nashville.
Yeah, they don't seem to have that kind of. Still looking for kind of a playmaker in midfield. That's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? And this is where I would have thought Kerr might be dropping into the midfield and right behind Parks and trying to create more opportunities through balls so he can get on the end of them.
Bob Lilly said in the pregame that he and his coaching staff, Mark Pulisic, Dan Visser, using this time to see what's working, what's not, maybe some adjustments to be made in the future as Heineman turns to volley one well wide of the goal. I'd imagine, though, we'd see the formation to stay similar throughout the season with the 5 across the back.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, in the midfield, there's room for adjustment there.
Sure.
Up front, there's room for adjustment if you wanted to add a second forward, or how you wanted to go about it. That's off the body of Franco of Penn FC. Kerr tosses it over to Ray Lee for the throw-in. Lee steps up, fires it right into the feet of Romeo Parks, and play goes the other way here on the whistle. Foul called just on the edge of the attacking third for the Hounds. Matt Geiger with Paul Child, waiting for our first goal of the home season. Whether it be for the Riverhounds or for Penn FC, that's to be determined if we get one at all. Kasana volleying to himself, or at least trying to, but Greenspan cut it off the pass. Throw in Penn FC. Ray Lee can't believe it. He thinks it was off Kasana last.
It was. It hit him on the head.
I thought it was too.
But obviously I'll send my glasses down to that linesman.
You did bring the glasses with you up into the press box. Stylish frames at that. If mine looked that good, I'd bring them up too, believe me. Kasana tapped it over, and nothing working there for Penn FC. Franco spun it off the side of his right foot, and a goal kick for the Riverhounds.
And I think it's time that Bob's got to do something here. He's got to try and liven the group up and start creating some more chances here. You know, we're in the 75th minute and not a great deal of time. And if we can put some pressure, we've shown we can create some chances. Got to try and do it again and maybe get some new blood in there that can do that too.
Make sure you cast your vote for the USL Goal of the Week every Monday evening at uslsoccer.com as the road to the fans' choice USL Goal of the Year continues throughout the season. No nominations in this one yet. Still waiting for the first strike. And speaking of subs, Paul, we saw Nico Brett, so hold on here, has some trouble briefly out of Wale, pressured by Heineman. Dan Lind ended up taking the ball, and then the referee says play on, calling advantage here for the Riverhounds. Would have been a foul against Heineman if he would have caused further havoc. But yeah, Nico Brett, the former leading scorer in Division I soccer, came on for Romeo Parks last week at Nashville. Number 9, former Colonial. This one looped toward the net, and well, Picer reached up after a moment of searching for it.
It just looked like it was dangerous from this point, you know, from where we are. We're not quite on the center line, so.
Not quite. We are above the field, more in the right side of the field from your perspective if you're watching on the YouTube channel for USL. Ben Zemansky finally gets a touch on the ball. It's felt like a pretty inactive second half, but his give off for Ray Lee was a poor one. Lee did well to, in fact, keep that.
I thought that was out
in play,
sure. Yeah.
And Kevin Kerr sliding tackle to prevent a goal kick at the very least. Little plays that don't go in the on the box score. Well, now what are they going to do?
Offside, I think.
I believe so. They're going to have a free kick for Penn FC anyway.
You're going to see Penn FC kind of like really kind of slow the game down as much as they can and figure that, you know, if we get an opportunity, let's take it, but if not, don't give anything away. And I just get that feeling. I see the coach coming out and saying calm down, and the throw-ins and the kicks are taking a lot longer than normal.
They've done it basically all night too.
Yeah, really.
Penn FC trying to grind this one out. They tried last week at Charleston, gave up a goal midway through the second half, and then they had a really hard time, did Penn FC, getting their offense in gear. 3 shots, none on target. Meanwhile, the Hounds last week outshot Nashville 13-6. Much more thrilling second half than first last week. Both teams working through the first game jitters and rust, it appeared. Ray Lee faced up by Dan Metzger, and Lee simply serves it back. And just as I was talking about Nico Brett, the Jamaican, he's going to be coming in for Kevin Kerr, it appears. 9 in, 10 out is the signal from the 4th official on the touchline. So here's the move for Bob Lilly to try to instill some more attack in his squad. You don't see this too often, though. Kevin Kerr coming off.
Yeah, that is.
Kerr, the midfielder, Brett, the forward.
I'm sure he's not happy about it. He never likes coming off the forward, but respects what the coach wants him to do.
Nico
I think he'll just accept it.
Kevin Kerr.
Hopefully this guy can come in and give us that spark.
Nico Brett played for Portland Timbers too. The offense dried up for him last year, though. No goals in 7 appearances. This is his 3rd USL season. It's a Jamaican flavor on the field right now. 3 of them for the Hounds. Canardo Forbes in the midfield, and Parks and Brett up top. We're assuming that's where Brett will go. Parks backpedaling against Jake Bond. Has Bond on his back. Nods it over to Brett into the box for Forbes. That was Jamaican to Jamaican to Jamaican almost at the edge of the area. And headed out by Penn FC. Corner kick Pittsburgh, 79th minute. Maybe the chance here, Forbes will handle it.
Got to take advantage of this one if they can, Matt. This is a great opportunity, especially, you know, again, we've got Greenspan as a tall player and hopefully can get on the end of something here.
Canardo Forbes, back post corner, punch clear with two hands by Pizer. No trouble there, he read it like a book. And Zemanski will let that one bobble out of bounds.
Anything inside the 6-yard box, I really feel the goalkeeper should have those, but you know, anywhere between the box and the penalty spot, then they're a little bit indecisive and don't want to come out and win it, and that's where you've got to get your players running into and trying to get on the end of these crosses.
Brett was offside on the throw-in. You don't see that too often, but it gives possession right back to Penn FC. Penn FC 10 minutes away from taking a point out of Pittsburgh. Hounds been pretty solid on the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
Just a quick flurry for Penn FC in the opening moments of the second half. This is Dan Lind, who's had a couple of saves to make. He just had one last week. Lind, the 24-year-old. 15 shutouts as a member of the Pitt Panthers men's soccer club. League 7 in 2015 as a senior. Not challenged too much in this one.
Dover's wide open over there. He's got to get the ball and go at these players. That's what I'm...
There is Dover, and again, he dishes off.
And
Francois,
he's still going.
Back to Zemanski. Dover headed upfield, so is Romeo Parks. And it's volleyed away from him by Tiago Galvano.
On the field following tonight's game.
And they're saying it's off of Parks.
At the east end of
In
the
fact, no, it actually will be a free kick. So Parks committing.
No food, drinks, or soccer balls are permitted.
What's a
No,
throw-in?
they're going to make it a throw-in, so it must have ticked off of Parks. I thought it was, no doubt, last touched by Calvano. Not to be in this situation. Bodies colliding, Heineman knocked down. Parks pursuing the ball up ahead into the penalty area, but Pizer slugged it away.
He's given a free kick. It's tough to tell what.
Unclear signal from Charles Murphy on a couple of occasions. It will be a free kick, you're right, for Penn FC.
And look, nobody's going to take it.
Someone's got to want it.
But just eating up the clock is what they're obviously doing, and are in no rush.
Mauro Estaquio. A low drive into the box, and again Greenspan, the biggest man there to handle it well. Joe Greenspan, staunch in the center of the Hounds back line. Throw in for Pittsburgh. Substitution coming up for Penn FC before that. Checking into the game will be Salih Mohammed, 22-year-old Californian, wearing number 99. Well, in a bit he'll come into the game. Not quite ready was Penn FC here in this 82nd minute, as they'll have the throw in. Mohammed, Croatian trained player, missed all of last season with an Achilles tear, played for the San Francisco Deltas. He comes on for Lukium Kasana. Fresh legs
number 77.
up at the top for Penn FC, and a midfielder for a forward, so that gives you an idea of where Raul Voss's head is at on the Penn FC bench. Turning toward defending in a 0-0 tie, 83rd minute in Pittsburgh. Opening leg of the Keystone Derby Cup. Good win by Zemanski, lost control on a heavy touch, but he got it right back. This is Dover. De Francois just inside the touch line, makes some move, got around one man, but actually couldn't beat Tribbett for good.
He came back and won that back, didn't he? Didn't get away from him.
Dover will take the throw for the Hounds. The urgency building for the first goal of the Bob Lilly era. Turning Francois back to the middle. Romeo Parks back to the goal. Parks handling, lost control. Zemanski, oh, what a save by Pizer. Punching it clear, corner kick Pittsburgh. What a chance.
Another opportunity again. Here we have another one.
So the Hounds, with help from Parks in that large frame, couldn't let anyone touch the ball before he decided to make his move. Kenardo Forbes, again with a corner kick from the left flag, in low and headed up into the air by Heineman. Still danger zone for Penn FC. Greenspan tried to knot it back behind him and eventually cleared out by the visitors. A couple of scrambles. Forbes chests it down, but there's Bond to help out. Dan Metzger, former New York Red Bulls 2 standout.
Oh, he's off.
Tapped ahead, Muhammad's gonna come in, and Dan Lind off his line.
He's offside about 5 yards. This time, this linesman missed it.
Salih Muhammad sneaked in behind, and yes, it appeared to be at the very least close, if not offside, but no call there. And Toby Adewale gives Dan Lind a hand for coming up and being aggressive and maybe saving that game, saving this game, and saving that potential goal. Here's a look at the Zemanski chance off the volley. Oh, and Peiser so sharp, right in the middle of that 6-yard box.
Did well there, keeper.
Zemanski gave it up as Bond stepped in the way to take it away from Forbes. All the way over on the far wing. What does Penn FC have left in the attack perspective? Greenspan clears away from Calvin Resend. And as we've seen on these restarts in the second half, especially lately, Penn FC's taken its time.
Yep,
in the midst of 3 straight road matches. They couldn't get a point last week. Well, they want to hang on to one here. It's going to be tough for the Hounds to generate. You know that much. Throw in again for Penn. 86th minute. The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow @USL, that's simple, on Twitter. Love those in-game highlights. Watched a few of those last week in the Hounds opener against Nashville. Franco, not his best effort. That's a goal kick, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they need to get it back into play as quick as they can. Let's try and get a couple more opportunities before the end of the game. At least get some shots on goal if possible.
2 subs for the Hounds have been used, 1 for Penn FC. The Hounds have Brett over there. He's more on the right wing than left so far. Heineman looking to use that veteran craftiness to get around Adewale, who makes a lovely play upfield. Romeo Parks, can he find it? No, he cannot, but it'll be another corner. Another corner here in the second half. The Hounds are piling them up. That's number 6.
Parks complaining about getting fouled. He's got to get stronger, you know, and be more aggressive and use his body and his size.
The man to take it, Kenardo Forbes. The quick run up, the outswinger. Parks chests it down, but couldn't control. Zemanski rising, Greenspan turning to fire. That's blocked at the top of the box. And right back to Ray Lee and to Dan Lind's foot. 6 corners for the Hounds, no fruit from any of them. Parks, the header. Brett now over on the left flank. Couldn't catch up. Ray Lee fighting hard. Metzger getting into the mix, and Metzger was fouled in the process. 88th minute. We're going to take a look at Toby Adewale's heads up delivery, well upfield here to Parks, and yeah, Parks had an opportunity.
Yeah, and just
bounced at his feet, and he was screened off by Kenny Tribbett. Tribbett, the Penn FC captain. Adewale having a strong game is Toby Adewale. Lets this one roll out for a goal kick.
Should go get the ball and get it back in play.
Yeah, leaving it to his keeper there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Second-year Hound, Adewale, out of George Washington University. 15 appearances, all starts last year. He's tacked on 2 more this season. Dan Lind, once again, the big right foot. On the edge of the 89th minute in Pittsburgh. Home opener for the Riverhounds. Foul against Penn FC. Can the Hounds get it going? Heineman's protesting. Adewale slides it square to Vunka Yazil. Dover, and right back to Vunka Yazil in the middle of the field. The midfield ring, in fact. Adewale just at the half stripe. Fine delivery up ahead. It looked like a good one, but Parks couldn't get on the end. Just couldn't get his run time properly there. First-year head coach Raul Voss is going to make a substitution here. Jorge Rivera getting ready to come into the match. The Puerto Rican native. In fact, 8 caps for the Puerto Rican national team. We'll see if Rivera can get in. In the meantime, Francois is going to sprint up ahead, and he can't get to the deflected ball. That was off of Tribbett, and then right in on Pizer. Pizer pounds it up the right flank. Oops. Given away here, but now taken right back by Ray Lee. Calvin Resend was on at first, though, for Penn FC, leading to a nervous moment. 90th minute now. Adewale, sharp volley. Francois couldn't control immediately, but now he'll get some help there from Ben Zemanski. Francois, the push out to the flank. And Dover simply hangs on and finds Greenspan. We'll have the announcement on stoppage time in just a bit. Adewale. He's been showing off those long balls here in the second half. This one does not connect. Zemanski's going to let it bounce out and then take the throw. And Penn FC wants the sub. Voss, the 34-year-old German, gives Rivera a little bit of last-second advice. 34-year-old Voss against the 51-year-old Bob Lilly on the other side of the midfield stripe. Lilly in his first home match as Riverhounds head coach, but he's coached here many, many times, usually getting a lot of points out of their matches against the Hounds here or up in Western New York. Heineman's out. Tommy Heineman goes all the way to the 90th minute in his Penn FC debut, but it's Jorge Rivera's turn in stoppage time, and we are going to have at least 3 minutes added on. That appeared to be the sign being reached for by the fourth official, Kervin Moon.
4 minutes.
4 it'll be. So who will that benefit here, if anyone? 4 minutes of stoppage. Brett on the through ball, looking on the overlap run for Ray Lee. Let's get the throw in as it was cleared quickly out by Penn FC. Brett, the toss to the feet of Canardo Forbes. Right back to Brett. The cross to the far side. Francois is going to have to chase it down. Took all he had to get there. Dover faking one way, left it for Cristiano Francois. A good run into the box. Francois is there, and it's swept off his foot. Ken Tribbett again. That guy has been unbelievable on the clearances and offside here.
Yeah.
Or maybe over the end line, in fact, for a goal kick.
Actually, it was Francois. I think he was in offside position because he got the ball again. But you can see the time they're wasting again.
Well, you expect that now. They know exactly how long they have to wait, and the ball ends up into the into the Penn FC net. You're looking at Romu Pizer saying, "Why did you play it over there?" And now Charles Murphy is going to issue a yellow card to Romu Pizer for delay.
Yeah, he just watched that ball.
That's the type of play you'd expect a 38-year-old veteran to make, you'd imagine. But the second yellow card for Penn FC for not really anything related to actual gameplay.
It's going to hurt him down the line here in the regular season. You know, these players taking these silly cards.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, but the time did still tick off. Pizer has the free kick and simply drills it all the way under the scoreboard over there on the far side of the field. 2.5 minutes gone in stoppage. Maybe 90 seconds left if the Hounds are lucky.
I think the referee will add on probably another 30 seconds or so.
You'd imagine so for that delay that they just experienced.
Yeah.
Francois ahead of the pack briefly, now cuts back. Drops it, Dover, one fake. Now the cross, looking for Parks at the top of the area, did not connect, cleared away. Dover's on it again, throw in Pittsburgh. And Dover with a quick toss. Zemanski has some room. Ben Zemanski might have had the best chance for the Hounds here in the second half, but was denied by Pizer. Zemanski, fine volley over his head to Dover, just barely keeps it in, but Penn FC is going to take command. On the run, I believe that's Rivera, fresh into the game. Lind will handle it here off the handoff from Dover. And the foul here called against Pittsburgh. Out near midfield, that'll delay things. As the ball was cleared right by, I apologize, didn't get an idea of who committed the foul for the Hounds. Estaquillo is the one who was fouled. Bernardo Forbes was lingering in the area. I don't know if it was him.
I think it was Forbes that just challenged this guy, but
the ball was cleared over everyone's head. Getting close to the 4-minute mark. Now will referee Murphy add on even more. For now, though, it's sent over to the near side and headed away from Metzger. Thankfully for the Hounds, not a corner kick, just over the sideline instead of the end line. And Metzger will kill some more time here for the visitors. Franco's going to take the throw in eventually. We might see one more counter here, we might not. It's all in the hands of the man in charge.
yeah, really, I think he'll call it as soon as.
Franco's throw into the box.
Corner kick now.
This will be a corner, and play has not been blown dead yet. It is not over yet. So Penn FC gets a corner. A nervous moment for Pittsburgh here. You do not want to squander this point that you fought hard for, and I'm sure you feel like you probably should have ended up with 3 tonight.
Definitely with the opportunities they've had. I'm sure Bob's not going to be very happy with it.
Salvatore Barone, the left footer. From the near corner to the middle, and again, guess who? Greenspan up to get it. Still not completely cleared, though. Battles on. Parks will take care of the rest. Francois couldn't force it forward. Dan Lynn's going to grab it.
And it's time.
And that's it. Full time from Highmark Stadium. 95 and change, in fact, were ended up played here in this one. And Raul Voss will shake hands with Bob Lilly here at the midfield stripe. The Riverhounds, a little doubled over, it seems like. Not a little doubled over, a lot doubled over in some situations. Wondering how they did not put one behind Romu Pizer. But both keepers end up with the clean sheets. Dan Lynn for the Hounds, his second consecutive, and Pizer for Penn FC. We'll bring it on back to wrap things up, show you some second half highlights, and also get you the final stat sheet. But the opening match of the Keystone Derby Cup for 2018 ends with no goals on the board. And the Riverhounds still are looking for goal number 1 on the season, as is Penn FC. I guess it'll have to wait until next week. Keep it right here on Pittsburgh CW and the USL's YouTube channel.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
That one a little bit.
A little bit right here?
Yeah, right there.
Well, it looks like we can treat this in just a cast. So is this your first time getting a cast?
Yes.
Does it feel nice?
Yeah, it feels nice.
Call 412 Doctors for a same-day appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
Sure did, yeah. Here we are back. The Steel Army slowly filing out after congratulating their boys on what was a strong effort for the home side, but no goals. That's the most important part of it. No goals for either team. Penn FC picks up its first point of the year. Now 0-1-1. The Hounds 0-0-2 with 2 scoreless draws to start the Bob Lilly era. And Bob Lilly now, as you see on your screen, addressing his team. What would you be saying in this situation? Matt Geiger with Paul Child, by the way. Paul, you've got some coaching experience. You've coached Bob Lilly, in fact. What do you think is going on down there?
I just think he's telling the guys that, we've got to be more efficient. We've got to, take control of the game a little bit more, make better passes, make better decisions. I think, everything was a little bit rushed, haywire at times, and we give the ball away and then win it back. When we didn't take, I think he's going to be obviously on their cases regarding taking advantage of their situations, when they get an opportunity. You've got to try and finish those and get more shots on goal and be more creative.
Let's take a look at the highlights from this one. And the Riverhounds opening their home schedule, Penn FC, second of 3 matches on the road to start things. This actually way back in the first half, the Hounds attacking left to right. A very promising counterattack here. Francois, Kerr, Parks involved. One of many great looks for Parks, and stubbed that strike.
Yeah, didn't take advantage of it. And here's another good one. He did take advantage, and the keeper came up with a great save.
Romu Pizer at age 38, getting off
this was a
the
close
ground. Greenspan just missing on the header.
Yeah. Just overran it a little bit and didn't quite get the right direction. Now this one was, I thought he was going to fake a shot and then to cut it to the left and just cycle, beat the keeper, because he had so much room. And here's another one. Great cross, and got
to Parks. Yeah,
got to finish that.
Parks missing really 3 chances that a top-notch striker like himself in this league should be able to polish off at least 1, if not 2, of those. Best chance of the first half came there off that loose ball situation for Penn FC. Metzger, and there is Parks looking to round Ken Tribbett, and Tribbett might have gotten the ball before the foot.
Yeah,
so no call was made there from Charles Murphy, the head referee. Holland off the return volley. Boy, that was a better chance than I think I initially thought when it occurred right before the end of the first half. And second half,
this was another good one, running right onto it, and
Francois
just kind of took that volley and maybe just wait that split second longer so that ball would drop so he could get some power on it or volley. That's a great save again.
There's Zemansky. Yeah, so Romu Pizer, I don't know if he's the man of the match. He's pretty close, though, for the saves he made. He made 4. Yeah. The Hounds had 12 shots, as you see there. Penn FC with 8. Possession actually got better for the Hounds in the second half, 60-40 after it was 57-43 in the opening 45 minutes. How about that? 8-0 offsides for the Hounds. They were frequently caught with their hands in the cookie jar, if you will. 2 yellow cards for Penn FC, 1 for Pittsburgh. I wouldn't call it an especially contentious game, but there were some moments of anger and heated play, and some extended discussions as well with Charles Murphy, but that tends to happen in pro soccer no matter who was coming together. So the first installment of the Keystone Derby Cup ends up in a 0-0 draw, so nothing decided there. It'll come down to the final 2 matchups of the season. We'll see Penn FC come in again on May the 26th. In fact, here, next game for the Riverhounds will be at Toronto FC, so they'll have the call for you up there north of the border at BMO Field in downtown Toronto. It'll be a fun venue for the Riverhounds to get it going. That's the home of Toronto FC, the MLS club, not FC2. Typically they play out in the suburbs, but that'll be 2 o'clock. So set your cell phone alarms accordingly. 2 p.m. next Saturday, and the next home match for the Hounds will be in 2 weeks, another Saturday matchup here. Well, Paul Child, good to see the boys back on the pitch. Good to see the rivalry renewed here as we take a look at some of the images from tonight. Final takeaway in 10 seconds for you from this evening.
Yeah, I think they've just got to regroup, and Bob Lilly's still talking to them. So, he's obviously letting them know that they have to do something in the next game.
Hounds get a draw at home. Thanks for watching. Matt Geiger, Paul Child, for Gage and Chris and Mark. We'll talk to you next time here from Highmark Stadium.
Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.